Like I said, if you could tell me who
Sure, that was what you observed there was Alexander Hamilton's New York Provincial Company of Artillery. My name is Eric Tyson. I am the sergeant of that particular company. We were firing a 3-pound naval or garrison cannon, distinguished by the carriage, the wooden carriage that it was sitting on. That was a typical artillery crew made up of 6 individuals, including myself as the gun commander. The 2 positions in the front of the piece are charged with loading and cleaning the cannon. The left front position is known as the worm. The right front position is a sponge ram. The 2 positions in the rear of the barrel are charged with firing the gun. The left rear is the linstock, the primary person who sets off the fuse that lights the cannon. The right rear is the vent tender. They have a brass pick used to poke a hole in the cartridge, as well as a leather thumb stall used to cover the hole to prevent any air from getting in, potentially setting off a charge early. My position is in between in the rear of the cannon rather. What I do is I give the commands for firing the gun. There's a 6th individual behind me, a matros. They are responsible for handling the charges that are used by the crew to set it off. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them, but that's a quick rundown of what we just did.
And that was typical cannon used in...
Actually, it's not a typical cannon. That was that particular type of cannon would have been found either in a fort or on a naval ship. Our typical cannon is much larger and made of bronze. It was a 3-pound field cannon, which we don't have here this weekend due to some mitigating circumstances. Our regular cannon is actually designed to move with the infantry during a battle. That cannon would not be used generally in that fashion, but for purposes of an artillery demonstration, it still gets essentially the same effect across. It's loud and effective. Artillery pieces in general for personnel were effective at a range of approximately 500 yards. Field muskets used by the infantry, on the other hand, were generally effective at a range of 75 yards or less.
Portez vos armes. Chargez vos armes. Chien à rapport. Prenez la cartouche. Déchirez. Fermez la bassinet. Amorcez. Fermez la bassinet.
People do not become ill, from what I have seen, because of cold air, but because they are in a room with a number of other people, some of whom may be ill. Again, I'm not trying to take your profession,
That's
sir,
why
but
you
that
need
is
a fire. You need a fire set in the middle of the room to produce enough smoke to excise the bad air with the smoke. So you breathe.
Why would I wish the smoke would cause me?
I mean, it must be sage in there too, I'm sure.
But smoke would cause me to cough. Why would I wish to
You're
cause congestion within my lungs?
You need congestion to be relieved of yourself.
But I would be creating congestion through the breathing of the smoke. So how would this improve me, sir?
Because it eventually will die down, and you will have also expelled.
What will die down? Myself or the
One
illness?
of the 4 elements: blood, black bile, yellow bile, phlegm. Phlegm.
But
We need to expel the phlegm.
But again, sir, that is why I have indicated
Congestion.
congestion is due to your exposure to other
Congestion is a
people
good
who are.
thing. Like pus, infectious pus is a very good thing because it expels from wounds, from other orifices. Very good to have the infection inside of you.
Well,
it's a natural occurrence.
I agree it is a natural occurrence, but it is because of an illness. It is not a method of itself to remove. We get back to this issue of doing the bleeding and the I'm sorry. I respect your opinion, but
It's like talking about the spring tonic that you take and isolate yourself whenever you're not busy, and you create a fever, you create an illness, you expel, you fever, and you are better. We have known this for thousands of years. We all are ill about 1/3 of each week, month, year, our life. About 1/3 of the time, we are cleansing ourselves. You can't tell me that you have not read of this.
I believe the best term is I'm somewhat befuddled by your statement, sir.
If you want to read it and then ignore it or think badly of the idea, the ancients, the classical people, the people within 8 or 10 centuries of ourselves, have all believed this, that we need, whatever area of the world we're in, we need to do this cleansing. And we need to do it in the spring and again after the harvest times.
These illnesses, then to bring about a new set of illnesses to me?
You need to season yourself through those next 2 months.
Oh, you mean like the slaves are seasoned?
Yes, absolutely.
But
they're human beings.
yes.
We could go on about that. Yeah. No, they have pretty much the same cycles and systems in their bodies, and they require that seasoning.
So they formed regiments and were provided with green coats by the British Army. So those are the green coats that you see out there. They may be local and acting for the British Light Infantry. You'll see the British fighting in extended order there. They're not shoulder to shoulder, whereas people are closer together who are firing out of the camp. The tactics here are determined pretty much by the weapons they're using, and 4 times a minute, because a rifle, even though it's more accurate, because the rifling in the barrels puts a spin on the ball, makes it fly farther and straighter. It takes up to a minute to load your rifle one time. So the riflemen, when you got to, they were ready for long distance and target shooting particular individuals on the other side, like trying to shoot the officers or the artillery crew or something. But the reason that you'll see most of the fighting is done in straight lines across the field is that when you're using those less accurate muskets, they discovered that you took more casualties if you stood directly across from your enemy because you're firing at the broadest part of your target. And so the Continental Army under Washington did much better after the winter at Valley Forge when Baron von Steuben taught them how to maneuver on the battlefield. It wasn't that they looked better marching, it was that they could efficiently get in the right position to be firing directly at their enemy at the broadest part of the target. And all these weapons are muzzle loading. They use black powder. Luckily, most of it still seems to be working, even though we've had a pretty humid weekend. The volley was just fired by Lausanne's Legion. They're troops sent by the French government after the alliance between France and the United States partway through the war. It looks like the light infantry, I'm not sure what their objective was, most likely to find if there's indicating that the forces of Continental Congress have driven off the British light infantry, and I imagine they'll be reorganizing and putting some additional pickets out there on the other side of the tents of the vendors and demonstrators. Guys over in the camp are singing Chester. The national anthem did not become, the Star Spangled Banner did not become our national anthem until 1932. So there was no national anthem during the period, but that was a period hymn, Chester, to which martial words were added during the war. So that's what they were singing over there. So if you consult the signboard, you'll see what's going on in camp. Okay, 1:30. So what is it?
Gentlemen, thank you for your brave, courageous discouragement of the enemy's raiding and foraging party. They don't run off with that.
What are you fixing?
If ever it boils, let's only tell you, it's hard to do.
Did anybody else get
It will be lentils, spicy lentil soup. It's like lentils and apricots, garlic.
Stirry stir. Oh, what did I snag? There's something in there. It's not too disgusting. I think it's done. Want to try some? Go a little more. Yeah. Hasn't quite softened up yet. It was fairly nutritious. They usually supplemented it with the salt beef and or pork they could occasionally get. A lot of them were farmers. A lot of them lived in the woods, so they knew what herbs and things they could use to supplement the flavor of it. For us, we don't know we don't have as much knowledge about forest things, so we're kind of forced to rely on what we could grow or produce commercially.
Is the basket your seasonings?
Yes. Last, they are more modern seasonings, but it's what we have to work with. There's also a there's much more wider availability of the different spices now, of course, than there was then. Some of these would be we have cinnamon. They had it back then, but it would have been incredibly expensive. The amount that I have in my basket probably would have easily been several months' wages for the soldiers. When they saw wages, they usually didn't. In fact, there were a couple of quote mutinies amongst the soldiers because they hadn't been paid in so long. And some of them joined the army, not necessarily out of patriotic duty, but to get the bounty so they could pay off their bills and keep their family in food while they were gone. So it was very difficult on them and their families. And so when they didn't get paid, didn't get their food, it's kind of difficult to live on no money, especially when you're out places and you're not really allowed to, shall we say, procure things in the countryside.
Ben, don't cry.
How are you doing?
Okay. What you working on?
I'm making what was called a wallet. Now, you imagine it was something like this. You used it to carry your belongings in. So it's kind of like a suitcase or something. So that's what I'm working on, a new one for myself.
So how large is that?
Pretty large. I think I'm 6'2", so it's about 6 feet high. And then probably about, if it's 60-inch wide fabric, probably 30 inches wide. I'll be able to keep a good amount of stuff in there. You caught me at a moment when I'm not sewing. I gotta go trim this.
Like this called an ingot. You take the ingot, put it in the pot here on top of the fire, put it up to its melting point at 600 degrees and turn it into melted metal. And what I do is cast. It means I pour the metal into molds. What I'm demonstrating today is an 18th century spoon mold. This is an original 230-year-old mold. And on top of the mold I prepare it with talc powder. Talc makes the metal flow and come out of the mold easier. Close it up. Clamp it down. I'm going to pick up the hot pewter and just slowly pour it in the mold.
Thank you for coming.
Right now it's very shiny. As the metal cools, it's going to go from shiny to a frosted gray in just a few seconds. Just like that. So now I can open up the mold. It's liquid, it's now turned to a solid spoon. But the mold was cold, so it didn't flow all the way to the edge there. So I can't sell that one. What I'm looking for is a perfect cast like this one. And later on I'm going to clean it up to sell. So to go from here to here, I have to take that knob. What that knob is called the sprue. It's where the opening of the mold is. It forms that excess piece, cut that off, and right now it's razor sharp around the edge there. So I'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes of sanding and filing with each spoon to get them ready to sew. And the ones that didn't form, I can't fix them. All I can do is throw it away. So I'm going to take that solid spoon, change it from solid right back to liquid, just like that. Once it hits its melting point at 600 degrees, it turns right back to melted metal. And we start all over.
Please, sir, refresh yourself.
Oh, yes, this is wonderful.
Well, I hope I shall be able to find the same when I'm.
And it is not Madeira.
No, it is not, sir.
It is not.
No,
It's wonderful.
But I
such a
find
warm day from down. Oh,
Yeah, I'm surprised in October 1776 to have a heat of this type. I
reminds
know
me of
that-
our days in July.
Fortunately, yes. I know that we do have Indian summer and it does strike, but not to this extent in October.
Yeah, the breeze is not coming in across the harbor.
Well, and
That's for sure.
unfortunately, some of the breeze that comes in across the harbor is not too pleasant. We have had that opportunity having been in Congress this past year.
This is true. Oh gosh, when I think back on how they tore apart so much of the wonderful ideas that we had,
Um,
one that will plague us well past our lives, I'm sure.
The greatest concern I have, because you had written a quite excellent declaration, so I wish again to congratulate you. My concern was the total removal of the concerns that we all have, those of us who are all in the committee, with regard to slavery.
Yes.
And the absolute removal of the points that I feel are so important to us.
Oh, even my own country of Virginia, along with the other areas to the south, absolutely refusing to go along with this.
And we are not talking about the elimination of slavery, we're just talking about the elimination of the importation of slaves.
Yes. I just hope that I'm in a position someday to make a greater effort succeed. Hopefully. And you also.
Well, it shall be interesting to see the position of the French with regard to our actions in the Declaration.
Yes.
And the removal, I do not know if they are aware of the removal of the slavery provision.
I wonder, since they saw the earliest versions. Right.
It is possible that they are aware.
Yeah.
So this could cause some issues with regard to the French. I still hope that they will support our
Thank
cause. This is a concern on my part, that given the nature that we are seeking the support of an absolute monarch, as a republic, in overthrowing another absolute monarch?
George Mason, Patrick Henry, Richard Henry Lee are not looking for this type of alliance that includes the military. I must say that because of the central power of France showing its domination on these shores in this way, as you've spoken of the earlier war.
To maintain our army if we constantly retreat, we do have to have...
We would have a projectile coming up. So basically what we use is paper straws, remember them? They actually have paper straws yet. Two-sided tape, we roll in black powder, and we make a touchpad out of computer paper. So that's basically what it looks like. So when we fire this will actually blow apart, or we'll see it stream through the air. It's not going to hurt anybody. Yeah, you'll see it. All right? All right, now you take your, put this, and now you put your hand over that. Now, you're making sure no sparks from anybody shooting a musket or anything else hits that side there.
So the sparks hit him instead of you.
Right, we use our hats, so he doesn't have a hat yet. You're getting kind of bored over here, huh? You make sure this is still lit. Because don't forget, we don't have lighters and we don't have matches. We don't know what those are yet. So if this, no. But I've been doing it for 21 years and we've not had anybody hurt yet. Nope. My pants got a lot of holes in them, but that's about it. All right. Now the command is firing position, so you move out of the way. Make ready, that's when you go like that. Give is a prep, or it is in fire. So you say give, you're up here. Fire, you roll it right like that. That's what sets it off. Then it goes boom, okay? And once it goes boom, you come up. You're there. You guys come back up here. You come back up here. And I say, tend the vent. We start all over again. Yep, now we're gonna do it without me helping you. Got it? All right? Yeah, 15 seconds. All right. Don't break anything. All right. Tend the vent.
No promises.
Tend the vent.
No.
No? Oh no, he's doing right. Tend the vent, put your thumb on it. When you're done.
your thumb on it now. There you go. Search!
What's your thumb?
Thumbs underneath, there you go. Exit. Sponge, there you go. Thumbs underneath, straight in, there you go. Good. Thumbs underneath, there you go. Worm, go. One more time. You always do it twice. Some units will actually have a dry sponge. They'll go worm, wet, worm, dry, and they actually do it twice. We don't do that, it slows us down. Okay? Sponge again. Put yours right in here. Remember? Sponge down. When he's doing that, I'm going to say handle cartridge, or yeah, handle cartridge. Okay, you stand back there. Advance cartridge. You'll go around the fire because he doesn't want to blow up either. Okay, now we'll just wait an hour and see how well you do. Oh, I'm sorry. Charge the piece. Put powder in the barrel. Okay. You grab this. Stand over there. Ram down charge. Down. Watch your hands and your thumbs. Straight in. Yeah.
Get in there.
Okay. Stand back where you were. Pick and prime. That's yours. Okay. Pick in there. Powder bag. Here's your tool. Take that out. Put that in. Okay. Press down. Put your hand over it. And raise your right hand up in the air. That lets everybody know in the field that this gun's now live. All right. Firing positions. You back off. You guys come out this way. Come away from the front of the barrel. You move up. Make ready. Put it down. Give. Fire. Boom. Go back, we do it all over again. It's a real boring gun drill, but it's a very safe. Who wants to do it again? Any
I will.
Who else?
I will.
You already did it.
I want to do it.
Any dads want to do this?
I want to fire it.
Huh? No. Girls can do it. We have females in our gun crew.
Girls can do it?
Yep, come on.
I want to do it.
Okay, come right here.
They have no manners at all.
And to think we're British citizens and they treat us like that.
That is correct. However, my husband wished we weren't.
Does King George know that this is going on?
Still burning, I hope.
Oh,
right?
yes, I'm sure he does. Otherwise, the soldiers would, the regular soldiers would not be out rampaging the countryside.
Well, I'm agreeing with your husband. I think it's time that we are on our own.
Oh, I don't.
We can better rule.
To be honest, I have no care of which way this war will go. I just want it over so our lives can return to normal. Well, I better be going. I better be getting back. I've got more things to do and see if I can get my hands dry enough to begin spinning again.
Now, what are you doing with your wool?
I probably will be taking it to the weaver and letting him weave it into fabric, which I may give to the draper to sell. Because I don't need it myself, being on my own right now. I don't need it for myself, but I certainly could use the money to purchase some more goods.
And is he fair?
As fair as I know things are getting more expensive. I always think I should get more for what he's giving me, but I try to bargain with him, but I'm just a woman. And they think we women don't know anything.
We're not able to handle the money.
No, and have no opinion of politics either. And yet, we keep it to ourselves. We don't let our husbands know that we do have an opinion, and it may not. Mine does not agree with my husband's. He would like this war to be won by the rebels. But for myself, I really don't care. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference to us. We don't have a lot of money to buy goods. It's only what we produce ourselves that we can trade for other goods.
Well, the last letter I got from my husband, he's talking about more land further west. And being the farmer's wife.
You're not, surely not going to travel west.
I know not. So I have no clue what is going to happen after the war. I may not be able to stay around. We may be moving.
Who knows what will happen? Who knows even if our husbands will come home from the war?
That is true.
It's just frightening, really, to wonder what is going to happen to us. I hope that we're able to stay here. If the British move into this area, we will have to leave. And who will knows what will happen to our homes at that time. Still, we have to work on.
Well, it was nice to have this little visit and chat, and
do come and visit
I
me
will
sometime
come and visit you.
And perhaps we'll have a little refreshment, and or perhaps you can come and share dinner with me one evening.
Oh, that would be nice. It is lonely, and the weather is getting nicer. It's easier to travel.
It certainly is. Good evening, Mistress.
Good day,
Hostess.
Mistress.
Oh, you did?